24 Jamaican students are now in Poland, safely evacuated from Ukraine. The kind of things they had to go through are unimaginable, and I would rather have them tell their story when they arrive in Jamaica. For this video, however, I'd like to share a bit of what was happening behind the scenes and why it's been so challenging to do this evacuation. Before we begin, an important announcement. This is my personal opinion, but I have to share it. If there are any Jamaican nationals in Russia or Belarus, I personally encourage you to leave now. This is why. Due to sanctions, many countries in the world have already closed their airspace to Russian airlines, and international airlines are stopping their flights to Russia. Funds on Russian bank accounts might soon get frozen, and bank cards won't work in Russia, and if you have cash, Russian currency might be worthless very soon, and dollars and euros will be impossible to buy. This is just a tip of the iceberg. Belarus government is supporting the Russian government in this so-called military operation in Ukraine, which means Belarus might end up under similar sanctions as well. Again, this is my personal opinion. I might be wrong, but I said it. Now, it's your responsibility to make your own judgments. Please note that the government of Jamaica also made the statement encouraging Jamaican nationals in Russia to take precautionary measures for their safety and leave when necessary. Now back to evacuation from Ukraine. Originally, I was told that there were 28 Jamaican nationals in total that were being evacuated. I know that 23 of them are now in Krakow, but I wasn't able to get in touch with other Jamaicans. There are assumptions that they evacuated not to Poland, but to a different country. When I published my first report on the situation, 22 Jamaican students were going on the train from Kharkiv to Lviv. If you haven't watched that video, please do so to be up to date with what's going on. I've been monitoring this situation since and posting updates in the pinned comment on my YouTube channel and in my Instagram account. Yeah, so yes, please repeat.
Yeah, they said we're staying here in a conference room and then we'll be leaving tomorrow.
Okay.
To the border.
Listen, the Ukrainian government told everyone to turn off geolocation on your phone. And this is urgent. Make sure all the students turn off the geolocation because they, okay, good. Have they arrived? Has the train arrived? Do you know anything about it?
Yeah, the train arrived. Some of the students are here at this company and some are at the sister company.
Okay. All right. Okay. So they have the bomb shelter, the shelter there.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So you're staying for the night, and then where are you going?
Tomorrow, the Charge of Affairs, Miss Judy, has arranged for a bus to pick us up. So we're going to the Helena time now, and then the bus will pick us up, and we will head to the border.
Guys, please stay safe, okay? Okay.
All right.
As the train was arriving in Lviv with Jamaican students, I saw in one of the chats that there was an air alert in Lviv. But luckily, everything went well. The train arrived, and all Jamaicans who got to Lviv managed to get a little rest before moving towards the Polish border. I did my best to report the current situation about the Ukrainian and Polish border to Jamaican embassy. Originally, our students were supposed to cross the border at Medica, and I explained that the lines were huge. I'm talking about traffic. See for yourself. This footage was taken by Washington Post on the 25th of February, showing the lines of cars in Medica on the Ukrainian side. So I knew that even when the bus brings Jamaican nationals to the border, it would get stuck in traffic. And as my Ukrainian friends reported, it might take up to 3 days in total to actually reach the check-in point. So, of course, it made sense for people who had no cars to simply walk, and that's about 35 kilometers. Now that you know the context, to the morning of Sunday of 27th. A representative of Jamaican embassy managed to arrange 2 vans to take students from Lviv to the Polish border, and the group left Lviv before 5 a.m. Jamaican time. However, instead of going to Medica, they went to a closer checkpoint where there were less people. But of course, when they arrived, there was still a lot of traffic by the border, so they couldn't pass with the van. one of Jamaican students began live streaming. It was very difficult to understand what was going on, but it looked like our students couldn't understand why the driver couldn't take them further. Here is the part of this stream.
Хорошо. Хай вона подзвонить тому хлопцеві, щоб він розрахувався по гроші в тій машині. Я не знаю, вона просто буде.
Can you tell me what's with payment, because Antonina is worried that you might not be paying?
It's with the others in the other car.
It looked like there was misunderstanding due to the language barrier, because what I'm hearing in Ukrainian is not the same what I'm hearing in English. Obviously, they had to walk because alternative choice was to wait in traffic for a few days, and drivers were not going to do this. I hope when they're in Jamaica, they will share more on what actually happened there. To make the situation worse, it was getting colder and colder as they walked. But here's the message I got from Owen.
The bus that we took said the agreement was that he would take us as far as he could because of the traffic. So he took us maybe 30 kilometers. We have another 30 to do on foot. So we're walking it. We are taking a rest stop now. On the scene, there are persons, Ukrainians along the road that have soup and sandwiches to give out. So we're doing the best we can. I think we've covered like maybe 5 kilos already.
Under normal circumstances, it would have taken 6 hours, 5 hours to walk 30 kilometers. But that is if you have good equipment, good weather, which was not the case. These Jamaican students had survived the attack in Kharkiv, spent hours in bomb shelters. 2 of them spent 36 hours on a bus going through bush, avoiding places under attack, while others managed to get on the train, which was another mission impossible. And then they found themselves walking about 30 kilometers in freezing temperatures. I hope they would allow me to interview them when they arrive in Jamaica, for the final video on this situation. So if you don't want to miss this episode, make sure your bell notification is on. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Now let's go back to what was happening behind the scenes. Some of you might wonder, where do I get all this information for the updates? Well, my husband and I are Ukrainians who live in Jamaica, so of course we felt it was our duty to help our Jamaican people in Ukraine. Besides, as someone who speaks fluent English, Ukrainian and Russian and also understands Polish, I just wanted to help them. But so were other people too. Jamaican government arranged with the Polish government to have a Polish representative to meet our students at the Polish border. Her name is Olivia. She watched my first video and contacted me.
Dobry wieczór. Dobry wieczór, to Irina, Ukrainka na Jamajce. Czy mnie słyszysz?
Słyszę!
No to dobrze. To dużo przyjemno, to polski ludy.
Kolejka jest strasznie długa, więc dziewczyna mówi, że oni jeszcze im zajmie gdzieś 2-3 godziny, zanim przejdą.
O, zaczekam. Maybe better in English, because then I would maybe use this information later for the video.
The situation is they're waiting in line all together. They're safe, but they're super cold.
Yes.
And the queue is pretty long, as expected.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have walked for so long. But it's like,
Walked, I think, 22 kilometers.
is it 22? I thought it was almost 30.
Yeah, no, they actually not going to. They're not in Medica.
The Krakowiec.
They've changed. Krakowiec. But I don't think it's not far from Medica. It's just less crowded there. In Medica, the waiting line is like 24 hours right now. And as far as I know, earlier today, somebody informed me that in Krakowiec, yes, the waiting is 8 hours. But you know what I mean? Everything, the dynamics of the whole situation changed. Anyway, they're safe. They even got so lucky to get a lift on the way while they were walking.
Oh, that's why they got a little bit faster.
Yes. All we know that they're cold, but they're happy.
Do you have any accommodation for them already sorted out?
We have a big home, so some of them will stay with us.
Okay.
Some of them, whether we're going to sort out some hotels.
Olivia, I have friends. I have my Ukrainian friends in Krakow, and they said they can accommodate. They can accommodate some people. Yes.
That's fantastic. That's great news.
I'm worried that hotels might not have enough room. But in Krakow maybe it would be all right.
No, I doubt. I think we will find something.
Okay, so
I don't have any worries regarding that.
Okay. In any case, you have a backup plan. I'm gonna let my friend know to be on standby. Okay.
Fantastic. So if anything, if needed, I understand we can get in touch with your friend tonight.
I'm going to give you her number.
By pure chance, some of my close friends from Ukraine, Victoria and her family, lives in Krakow. When she heard that Jamaicans are on their way, she offered her help just to provide her accommodation as a backup plan in case all hotels are booked out due to this massive migration that's been happening now.
Ира, я тебе говорю, кто не разместится или не получится, принимаю. Я написала соседям, что 26 человек есть, по 2 человека в каждый дом.
По 2 человека в каждый дом, я поняла.
Если нужны будут деньги или еще какие-то вещи, продукты, то вообще без базара.
А у вас что, много денег?
Очень много, все хотят дать.
Ой, ладно, Зай, все, давай, я тебя целую.
Не, серьезно, Ирка.
Хорошо, я поняла.
Another very important person who I know of who was trying to help with the situation is Kevin. He's a Jamaican who lives in the capital of Poland, Warsaw. After I published my first video, I got a message from him in Facebook. Quote, "If there is anyone who needs some sort of accommodation in Poland, I'm willing to assist. Please follow the contact information of anyone who reaches out." Kevin did quite a lot, actually. He kept communication going with some Jamaicans in the group, and he drove to the border from Warsaw to offer the ride to Jamaicans just in case somebody needed it. And it's a very long drive, by the way. In the end, he spent over 7 hours at the border, and he kindly shared this video of the arriving point at the Polish side. Finally, our large group of Jamaican students made it to the border at the Ukrainian side, but the journey was far from over. When Olivia came, she spoke with the Polish officers, and they allowed her in and called the Ukrainian side and requested to let the group through. The Ukrainians said, "Yep, sure, no problem," and we thought, great. And that's when I heard the news. Somebody shared the video stating that black people were not allowed to cross the border and that they face discrimination. I'm not going to talk about it right now because I want to hear what our Jamaican nationals have to say first before making any assumptions or jumping to conclusions. But I will definitely address this issue very soon. So far, the only fact I know is that Jamaican nationals did cross the border, and by 5 a.m. Polish time on the 28th of February, they were on the bus heading towards Krakow. In total, it took them somewhere around 11 hours from the moment they arrived at the border to the bus. And that's for a group of over 20 people. It's a lot of time, but it does look like that checkpoint was indeed a better choice than others, where Ukrainians report waiting for 24 hours or more to cross. There have been a lot of challenges with organizing this evacuation due to unprecedented circumstances and because of conflicting data. Confusion was happening all the time. Here are the reasons why. Most Jamaican students were staying in Kharkiv. However, some of them were in other cities. So arrangements for transportation within Ukraine had to be made separately for them. During this evacuation, there has also been a confusion with the number of Jamaican nationals. This is because initially there was a group of students that included not only Jamaican nationals, but also nationals of other countries. Some students mentioned Nigerians and Egyptians. Obviously, they were evacuating as a group of friends, not as nationals of this country and, nationals of that country go there. So when the embassy was asking Jamaicans as to how many of them are in the group, Some were given numbers, including the nationals of other countries, without realizing this would cause the confusion. Of course, all foreign students should be evacuated, regardless what their citizenship is. But this made the coordination of the whole process complicated. Apart from the bureaucracy, under such circumstances, the priority for each person is to save lives. And of course, it makes sense that people do everything possible to get out of there with whichever arrangements they can get, and not coordinate with others who might be in a different part of town or even in a different city. So different Jamaican students communicated with different people. Some of these people are just random friends or just people who wanted to help, and that includes like me or other Jamaicans in Poland, for instance. Others communicated with the embassy, but because information came from different sources at different times with some delays, it was very difficult to put the full picture together. And the last and probably most important factor, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's true to say that Jamaicans don't have the habit of relying on their government much. Instead of waiting for their embassy to organize things for them, some preferred to take things into their own hands, which is understandable. When your life is in danger, the last thing on your mind is to call the government to ask if you should wait for the rest of the group. I just wanted to share some of the challenges people encountered. My job in the end, I didn't really help much. I just did the coverage. But in any case, our group of Jamaican students are in Poland. The representative of Jamaican embassy arranged a nice hotel for them so they could finally get some good rest before getting some nice Caribbean food in Poland. I cannot wait to see Owen and Tarek in Jamaica and meet the others for the first time. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Jamaica. I hope you have a safe flight back home. I would like to thank everybody for the support of this channel. It is 100% sponsored by my audience. If you want to support us more, you can leave a comment under the video and let the algorithm know that this video is worth promoting on the platform. And of course, I'd like to give special thanks to all our patrons, especially top tier patrons, for their continued support. If you also want to join them, you can do so from only $5 per month. And of course, great thanks to all the people who've been trying to help and helped at this situation. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Irina, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned.